Hey, quick story before we start. I was talking to this $2 million agency owner recently, had a great team, solid clients. They told me they wanted to scale to 5 million. So I asked them one question. If you stop selling for 30 days, what happens? They laughed. Then they said, well, revenue probably drops. That's the problem. Most seven-figure agencies don't have a sales system. They have a founder. They do free strategy, custom proposals, the long sales cycle, and they're constantly chasing prospects. So I'm running a 100,000 plus sales conversion workshop to actually fix this. I'm going to show you how agencies are charging for that first step and getting paid to pitch, how they're closing $100,000 plus deals faster and getting the owner out of the day-to-day sales. Now it's a whopping $100 because we want to scare off the time wasters. Okay. If you're serious about removing yourself as a bottleneck, go to agencymastery360.com/100K. That's agencymastery360.com/100K. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the episode.
You're listening to the Smart Agency Masterclass with me, Jason Swank, and we're bringing you this episode courtesy of our friends at Wix Studio. Let's go ahead and get into the show.
Hey man, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, excited to have you back on. Last time we talked about you scaling your agency, and I wanted to have you back on to talk about AI and what you're doing with that and all that. But if people didn't listen to the first episode, tell us who you are, what you do.
So my name is Gilad. I'm the CEO and founder of Moburst. We've been around in the last 12 years, started from a mobile marketing shop and basically scaled into a full digital transformation agency. We've done 5 acquisitions as part of the last 6 years. We're doing 2 to 3 acquisitions every year, and we keep on adding more capabilities. And I think that the part that we kind of talked before was around basically how to ingrain all of the companies together and things of that nature, and how to continue on adding more value for our clients. We are servicing massive clients. We work with the Microsofts of the world and Google of the world and like Uber and Samsung. Like we had a very, very large portfolio of pieces that a lot of companies are knowing about. And our goal is to basically supply them this type of a one-stop shop angle of helping them with whatever they need on the growth journey to unlock more growth potential. So that's kind of where we stopped on the last time, and AI was a big enhancer of it that we thought it definitely worth another chapter. So I'm really excited that you got me back in here.
Yeah. So talk about how did you start diving into AI? I know you hired a vice president of AI. Is that correct?
Yeah. So a year ago, that's exactly how we kind of started it. We said AI is not a small trend. We need to took it very, very seriously. And as part of that, we knew that getting AI innovation into the company would create a lot of friction. A lot of other VPs that used to do something for 20 years, 25 years, getting so much experience. And now we're saying everything you do right now, it's not wrong, but it's not as effective as it could be because of the way that you do that. And because you are so formed on your old habits, getting just an AI manager or just a technical AI implementer, that will not do the trick. Like we need to treat it as an initiative that takes a very big priority, and as part of that gets very big investment into that, and basically positioning it in the company to say, like, the VP AI goal is to make sure that whatever you've done in 2024 or 2025, if you're doing exactly the same thing in 2026, you're doing it differently. And this is something that needs to inspect every single process, every single deliverable, every single thing that we are creating today. If we would create the agency yesterday, we probably wouldn't do it in the same way, because you have shortcuts, you have tools, you have capabilities, you have different sets of innovation that came into our life so fast. And we need to make sure that we are not just catching up, but we are actually in the edge of it. And because of that, we brought a VP AI and with 3 AI managers underneath her. And then we built 16 AI champions within every single team in the company that is in charge of implementing the things with the AI team. So we basically have 16 AI champions that each of them is working around 70% or 80% of their time on the actual things that they need to deliver, 20 to 30% of their time on the AI elements for their entire team. And then we have the AI team that is actually producing new protocols, new processes, new agents, new products, many things on that side. to basically get it all the way in. And I think that like the cultural shift that you need to do there, and the changes of kind of the perspective of saying, yeah, we have data, we know what works, what doesn't work. Every single company says that, every single company knows how to do that. But if you can tap on something on a touch on a button and it will do 90% of it automatically, what would it make your future role look like? And that's something that needs like a lot of vision and a lot of kind of opening the borders of what we used to do, and it works for us so long, so we need to just keep on doing it, to something saying, let's challenge the status quo, let's be much more flexible with that. And if you're not appointing someone in this level of VP, it's very hard for let's say a manager level to start fighting back with a director or with a VP and saying like, okay, they're saying no, what can I do? And then, bring the CEO back. We don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we are giving someone a lot of authority, a lot of mandate of doing changes, and explaining to the VPs that this is not a nice to have. Like that's going to be how you're going to be measured. That's going to be how you're going to be looked at. Even on the evaluation forms for every single employee, we are always looking on professionalism. We are looking on interpersonal connections, and then we are also looking on basically how they're basically working with their peers and things of that nature. We added another a fourth parameter of like AI adoption within the team and within that manager, so they would know that this is something that is heavily focused to make sure that we are actually bringing it to life. And we created so many things on the culture side, like a Slack group only about all of the newest news, tips and tricks, lectures, a lot of things to actually blend things that one team actually done with another team, and like creating all of those connections within the company to unlock creativity, because it's very easy to just say, but that's how we always did it. And yes, you can prompt something to ChatGPT. You're prompting it in the wrong way. You're testing it in the wrong way. You're looking on the deliverable. It looks like crap. You're saying, nah, that doesn't replace me. That doesn't know how to do that. And it's very easy to basically put it aside, where it just means that you probably didn't do it right.
And a lot of times people think about, the more that my agency dives into AI, the more people I can eliminate. Now, yours is kind of the opposite, right? Like the more you guys dive into AI, you were just telling me kind of before we hit record, you're like, man, I'm hiring like crazy.
Yeah, it's the goal last year was to say that every single employee will be able to do 50% more billable time because of that. So basically, if I'm staying exactly stale, theoretically I'll be able to reduce half of the headcount. The reality came into a completely different place, where we actually, like on one end, we enlarged how much revenue per employee can be done based on the automations. But on the other side, I still now need to hire around 18 new folks just by the end of this coming month, like in the next 30 days, just to keep up with other things that are happening because of what we are doing. Because I feel like once you're showing your clients the level of innovation that you do, and the new products and the new offerings that you are creating, and new sub products that you can actually say, hey, you know what, you can actually subscribe for this thing, and this is a really cool thing that we've done. It create growth hacking in a completely different way. If you want to use it, fantastic. You can be a beta tester and things of that nature, and adding there more value from a very different way. I feel like they appreciate it a lot. They telling about it to a lot of peers of theirs, and magical things happen, and more budgets are being unlocked because of those things. So I feel like we managed to bring 2 Fortune 10 companies in Q4, which we would never be able to do if we wouldn't present them. They came. One of those Fortune 10 companies came to us because they were looking for a new media agency. Just on the media side, that was kind of the biggest pain point. And we show them that media is fantastic, but they have another massive opportunity on AEO, how they are getting indexed on ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and Claude. And we have there something very, very unique with something that we feel like they're missing. And we show them how that creative could be utilized over there. And if you're doing podcast appearances over there and the PR from that side, and you're just blending those things together, you're creating all of those trust signals, and then it compounds to these things of what we've done with a competitor. And they said like, wow, it's not what we expected. It wasn't part of the RFP, but you guys are the thing that we were looking for, not just for the media side. We were thinking about opening 2 more RFPs for other needs. You could be our one-stop shop, and basically when we won that, we won in a massive way, and basically being integrated to so many different teams there. So as long as you're really investing into what is the best outcome that can be done today with crazy innovation and people that are very much dedicated to do more because they have more time. They have more time to think. They have more time to collaborate. They have more time to not exporting file, downloading it, integrating those two things to a pivot table. Now take it from this sheet into a slides, open it, creating the thing, move this more to the right, move that more to the left. But you're actually tapping on a button, poof, you have a report fully done. You just read it through. You see the insights. You see that it makes sense. You're tasting it in your mouth saying, yeah, it's not too salty. It's not too sour. Like it feels right. Then you can actually use that. And once you have all of that time back, you can start thinking outside of the box in a very different way. And the potential that it unlocks is mind-blowing.
Look, your agency adapts for every client, right? Your builder should do the same. That's why Wix Studio is built for the way you actually create. AI-powered site mapping lets you get straight down to the design. Whether you shape things in Figma or start in Studio, your vision's coming to life quicker with no-code animations and built-in responsiveness. And for client growth that actually scale, you've got extendable business solutions and a dynamic CMS. Scale your agency at wixstudio.com.
Yeah, a lot of agencies are looking at AI to get kind of like how you are of how do I get more streamlined, but how do I replace a lot of the people, which I think is the wrong way to look at it, right? And yes, there will be certain people that will be replaced because they're not out of the box thinkers. They're not growing, right? Like you were talking, and I bet with a lot of your people that used to do certain things that AI is replacing, they're moving into new roles. And now they're it's kind of almost giving them like superpowers a little bit to go a little faster. But then you're also looking at it of going, which I think is very smart, positioning it in a way to the brands and being like, look, we're in the forefront. We're innovative. We're way out here. Everyone else is kind of still thinking 2 years ago and just going to ChatGPT, using it for writing. Here's what we're using, because brands and people want people that move fast, that are innovative, that can solve their problem very quickly. And obviously all these tools and technologies allow us to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that like when you're choosing a partner, you want to make sure that they will challenge the status quo. You want to make sure that they will actually help you to move to a better place compared to where you are today. And I think that a lot of the things that we are doing today are inspiring our clients to invest into automation, into agents. They even ask us if we are willing to start offering that as a service, which is not something that we've ever planned to do. But now we are opening, like the AI team actually opens a delivery team to start helping our clients solving AI challenges, which are not even related to marketing, which is something that we never even thought it would happen. But the opportunity is here. We know how to service those clients. We know their pain points. We know how to actually create automations. We solve it for ourselves. They saw the solution. They want something similar. We know that we can deliver it. And basically, like, why not? And I think that like those type of relationships, it kind of adds a different level of flavor to the relationships. And I feel like when you're looking on the employee that can know, hey, I'm currently a media buyer. I'm buying media on Google Ads. If I'm listening to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm listening to the CEO of Google, and I learned from them that by the end of this year, in order to set up a campaign, you need a bank account or credit card, and you need the website. And we'll create the targeting, we'll create the ads, so what will be my role in 2 years from now? Like, I'm going to be completely replaced. Like if Google will do all of those things by itself and Facebook will do all of that by itself, what will happen to me? And the fact that you can actually learn new skills, learn new sets of capabilities, and actually transforming from a media manager to an AI manager, and then progressing in the AI world opens the opportunities for someone that, we had a content manager that was moved to the AI team. We have a media manager that was moving to the AI team. We have a BI manager that maybe over there it's a bit more, again, data and understanding trends and things like nature. That may be more analytical. That may be making more sense. But I feel like those progressions and the things that you're taking from what one team has done and showing it to other teams and saying, hey, wow, this is really smart. I can apply the same principles. It will look a bit differently, but oh my God, it can save me so much time. And I think that it's not about like the cost reduction. I feel like it's the fact of being productive with your time. I think that there are so many manual processes that you do today that don't make any sense. A new client sign, we need to put it in here on HubSpot and then connecting to Salesforce and getting an invoice from SAP and then opening a project on Asana and assigning all of those tasks. And now we created this type of a thing, Fireflies, that sits with us on each and every meeting. It takes the notes, again, nothing too special about it, but we connected it with an agent that we created for Asana, for whoever was on that meeting, and basically takes all of the action items that are guided on that meeting, that's automatically created for you, and assigning that on new tasks in Asana on the right project with the timeline of when you actually need to apply it, based on the team, based on who is the team that was basically working on that specific thing. And it tags the time, it gives you the context, and give you the transcript, it gives you all of those things. And then the account director, instead of actually opening tasks and cleaning it up and working so much on back office, it's just coming in. It all makes sense. This is assigned to the right person. Okay, fantastic. They are all aware of it, instead of actually losing another day or two from the summaries and then assigning it and then having internal meetings and all of those things. Everything is streamlined. So if you build it right and just creating the right flow from different departments, from different processes, everything is just making it so much easier and faster. And then we are all just being more productive, especially across time zones, where someone is actually, let's say, in the Israeli side, they're working in the hours in the US that is like working, let's say, up till 11 Eastern. So anything that came after 11, it's 6 o'clock over there. Like, okay, they will see that tomorrow. And if you had 3 meetings back to back, you didn't have the time to actually insert those tasks. And tomorrow morning, till they're starting to work on that, you just missed a day. So all of that working smartly between different teams, if you're just applying solutions that are smarter of automating a lot of things, magical things happen.
How do you have your teams be transparent and share among each other? So because one team's going to be ahead of the other on certain things. And let's say they discover this new way of doing it. How do you create, or how do you make sure that they're sharing it with everyone else?
So it's not really optional with the way that we are set up. So every week we have an AI champion that goes through every single thing that happened on the news related to AI and saying, OpenAI just released model 5.2. Okay, we can read the news, but then what does it mean for Moburst? And then 2 things that you can apply it for different teams based on what you think that it can actually be helpful with to test it out. And then that's something that happens every single week. On top of that, we have a monthly hackathons for the teams that are actually having a full day of the entire team working on solving and troubleshooting a specific thing that we want to solve, that next month we will not need to do that anymore manually. On top of that, we had the AI week, which is something that we've done a week ago. It was every single team in the company needed to come and present. The way that they presented things was wild. Every single team gets 15 minutes. We are doing it as kind of a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like 1 hour slot for the presentations, and then another 1 hour slot for different lectures and different things, tips and tricks, different things that happen. And then we have this type of a competition, and then we have the judges pick, and then you have the employees pick, and the winning team basically gets a really nice reward based on, it could be like weekend getaways, it could be like lots of different things that we've kind of modeled for the prizes. So every single team comes on board, and they think about how to tell the story, the problem, the solution. We are all storytellers because we are all working in marketing. So how to actually tell that type of a story. You see some teams that actually created that with videos with VO3 to tell the story and getting you to the narrative of Harry Potter. And they're like, this was the problem, this was the solution. Then in this specific way, this is how we solved it. And they're showing you the demos themselves. And you're seeing the way that where we hit the wall over there, and then we needed to pivot, and then we needed to change. And this is what actually work for us. This is the protocol on N8N, and this is done on Lovable, and this is done on Base 44, and this is done by a custom GPT that is connected to Zapier, that connects to the Google workflow with whatever. And you're seeing the thought process, you're seeing the problem, you're seeing the solution. And a lot of the teams that are a bit more behind saying, hey, you know what? This is great. Can we use that thing as well? Like, can we have access to this type of a thing? And when the organic team that is in charge of getting us publications that will be publishing on I don't know, Forbes or New York Times or these type of PR basically, and they are working on pitching to the journalists about different things. And then they're saying, like, we always think about the competitors and what they're doing, but collecting it in the smart way of what the creative has just done to take all of the ads of our competitors from Google and Facebook and analyzing them and understanding what happens on every single second of that video or that image, who is their target audience, what are they trying to do now, if it works, if it doesn't work, how much time are they spending on that ad, because if they're spending on that ad now for 6 months, and they're replacing other ads, it means that it's probably effective for them. What are the learnings that we can extract out of it? And then, like, taking a lot of those learnings and applying them to a completely different thing, like taking it from online to even offline and things of that nature. Those learnings are things that the team usually doesn't even think this way.
Yeah.
And when you're bringing all of the teams together and showing them capabilities and showing them things that are now in one press of a button, it took time to get to the press of a button, but now that you can use that, people start thinking, and that's a beautiful thing that happens when you're thinking, hey, you know what? Instead of just having that a dashboard, creating this automated deck that creates it based on the narrative of 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually taking these insights over there and combining the media with uplift and like things that were never even thought, because it's not exactly in my domain. It's a bit further, but now I can just imply it without bagging them for another 20 hours to complete a section for a deck of a client that they don't service. And now it's easier. So I think that once you are creating this type of culture of sharing those things and also sharing what failed, some of the teams came in and saying, guys, we started over there. We were sure that we can solve it. And we saw that we are solving such a niche problem that no one cares about. And then we pivoted to something else. And we came from here to there. It's not done just yet, but this is how the demo looks like. So we didn't bring it to the finish line just yet. But I think that that's level of being transparent and direct and sharing your experience, something that builds a lot of trust and showing progress. And that's, the most important thing of basically not hiding your failures. You'll have so much failures with AI, just like you have failures in marketing in general. You're testing some things that make a lot of sense on the paper, and you're testing them out, and the results are crap, and we need to pivot because it doesn't work.
I love it. I love how you guys really kind of dived into AI, both on offering it as new offerings, but also thinking about how do we streamline and how do we make our people better within the organization, and how do we share that throughout. And I love kind of the hackathons and the sharing and AI week and all of that. For everyone listening, look, you don't have to do all that. It all starts with one little step. Maybe it's hiring someone that's in charge of AI or who will champion AI within your organization. It all starts there. Excuse me. So, but I want to thank you so much for coming back on the show. If you guys didn't check out the first episode about acquisitions and scaling, we'll make sure we'll link it up in the show notes and all of that. But thanks so much for coming on. And for everyone listening, if you want to be around other amazing people, where they're constantly doing new things, where it sparks new ideas, or might be able to see things you might not be able to see, make sure you check out elevatemyagency.com. That's our live event coming up. Go to elevatemyagency.com. And until next time, have a swank day.